everyone, and welcome back to a brand new edition of the Absolutely Women's Football Show. We've rebranded slightly so we can incorporate all the women's football from all the way around the world that you could ever possibly need to know. And just thank you so much and welcome to everyone griefing me for being late in the chat, including our very own Rosie, who's even here with us right now. What a lovely warm welcome to the evening. So good evening to Mark. He's always first. Good evening to Emma as well. Yeah, we are ready for some classic one-liners because we've got a lot of rants to come through as well. Graham, good evening, and good evening to Simon as well. Hello. And of course, I'm joined by some wonderful people tonight as well. And I would say, how are you doing? But apart from the football, how are you doing?
To be honest, the football's not been the worst part of my week, to be fair. Been a bit of a... It's just been an awful week from... Do we class Monday as the start of the week or Sunday? Because a lot of people class Sundays as the start of the week, and I always class it as Monday. But anyway, I'm ranting. I was meant to have a tooth taken out yesterday at the dentist, so it was like in South Shields, which is about half an hour away from where I live. Drove all the way through rush hour traffic to find out when I got there that there was an emergency appointment on because some little lad had fallen off his skateboard and had jammed his teeth in his nose. So I had to wait another 3 weeks for my tooth to get taken out. Apart from that, Freya, I'm fine.
Well, if there's any dentists in the chat that want to come and take Ant's teeth out for him, give us a shout.
To be fair, I mean, like, I'd rather than spend time on, you know, a Tony Hawk wannabe who's got tooth stuck in his nose. But considering I was already in the huff after Sunday, it just wasn't great for me, to be honest.
It wasn't. And just appreciate a phone call, really.
But yeah, that would have been.
Not come through, yeah.
Yeah, that would have been okay, wouldn't it? But never mind.
Oh, God. Well, hopefully tonight can bring you some laughs. To take over it. Okay, everyone start drinking now and make it a really good night.
Yeah. I mean, you put on before, like, you apologising for being late. I mean, you could have been as late as you wanted for tonight. I was more than happy. Just be like, yeah.
We'll talk for 20 minutes and we'll go. Don't worry. I love it. And Rosie, hello. Feels like ages since I've seen you. How are you doing?
Yeah, it has been ages. My laptop's broken, so I'm downstairs.
Wonderful.
I'll put it with the Apple Store, see what happens. But yeah, other than that, I'm great. Just been coaching. So I'm very sweaty. I haven't had time to do my hair. But
it still looks lovely though.
Oh, thank you.
I was thinking that before. It's nicely bunched up and stuff. So you shouldn't have said that. You forgot to do your hair. I think it looks all right anyway.
There you go. See, the compliments are flowing already, and the drinks haven't started yet.
Hi, Rosie.
Yeah. Segueing nicely into our last hello, Paul. Hello.
Hello.
You got a lovely little name in your little bubble there. Tell us about that. Tell us about your week.
Well, my week has been mostly arguing with Man United fans on Twitter, so standard week. It's just you know, if you are a Man United fan or an Arsenal fan who's ended up in my mentions, just go outside. Like, there's a big wide world out there, honestly. Yeah, but no, the hashtag is actually a supportive hashtag because obviously on Saturday, our very own Rosie became a social media celebrity. More of a social media celebrity because she was the only person apparently covering Chelsea versus Feyenoord and did more than the official Twitter account, which apparently can't even spell today because it's typing everything with its eyes closed. But yeah, so that's what the hashtag is. Basic point the wrong way. There you go. Classic social media professionalism. But yeah, the hashtag is basically hire Rosie because she does a better job than Chelsea's social media team. And also London City's social media team, and also that other team in the northeast that we're not allowed to mention in front of you two, their social media team as well. And I thought I'd do a positive hashtag because my backup hashtag was yes, I hate your team. But
just as an encompassing, I hate all teams. I will find something. Yeah.
Oh well. Apparently, I'm still bitter about the FA Cup semi-final. It's like I am, but I don't really affect how I talk about Man United women.
No.
Just the men.
Yeah, they're two different events. And we do have Mark's going to post-match speech that we can discuss. That was only uploaded about half an hour ago. So they knew we were coming on. So they knew we needed some ammo.
Was it on a wall? Was it just on a bare wall, painted on the wall in Manchester?
But just the AI face of him talking. Yeah. No, it's actually a real life one. It was quite nice.
Well, he's kind of uncanny valley, isn't he? He's like, sometimes you look at him and think he's just an AI version of a football manager. Like,
well, that's the thing. It's we'll talk about it at the end when we do all the latest news, but it's as almost as if you swallowed like a football thesaurus. And if anyone watched Desperate Housewives, this is going to be very niche, so I do appreciate this. There is one episode where Carlos has gone to rehab for his drinking, so Gabrielle has to go to a business meeting, and she's just copied down like 5 phrases from the business world, and she just tries to shoehorn them in without any knowledge whatsoever. And it's very that it's giving Gabrielle Solis at that meeting. But we will talk about it, so don't you worry. So this show this week then is going to focus on the fact that the Championship is back. We are massive believers that the Championship is the best league in the world and does not get anywhere near as enough attention as it should do. So this is how, again, sorry, Ant, it looks from match day 1. Now, a lot of the games were quite close. Could have gone either way.
Apart from one.
Hey, apart from 2, Charlton.
Oh, yeah, fair enough, yeah.
But we are going to take it in turns, having a really in-depth review from the weekend. So we are going to go to, we'll start at the top then. So Ant will talk with a North East team that actually did quite well, that we weren't expecting to. Durham 2, Sheffield 1. And I have to say, it looks like Carly Johns is going to be a very, very influential player for them this season. So,
Cracking signing, innit? Cracking signing for Durham. Whoever she'd have gone to from like Watford last year would have been, better off. I would imagine she would have ended up at like the bottom, maybe like a bottom 6 side or whatever. But she's a hell of a striker. A proper number 9, isn't she, as well? Like, a porter of goals, to be fair. But she I mean, as bad as Watford were last year, and a lot of people were saying, well, they only got the points because of Michelle Adjumang, this, that, and the other. Carly John scored goals for them last year. I think she was their top scorer. I think she had 8 or 9 or something, which, considering they were right at the bottom of the league, that's a really good return. And obviously she's signed for Durham, which would I have had her at Sunderland? Probably not, because I think we've signed a better striker than Ellen Adele. I know that's like sounding like really ridiculous now, considering we've lost 5-0 the first game. But I think Ellen Adele will probably score more goals than Carly Johns will this year. But like I say, it's a great signing for Durham, and good to see them. Like, they got the first goal of the Championship, didn't they, through Molly Lambert, which was a great goal. And Molly Lambert normally keeps her goals for Sunderland. So I'm glad that she's actually scored against someone else that isn't Sunderland now. So Molly, if you are watching, which you're probably not, but if you are, just back off when we play, is because Molly's an ex-Sunderland lass, and I always thought she would be in WSL by now, but come what way, she isn't. But yeah, great goal. Thought Durham, watching like the highlights, but I thought Durham actually played relatively well. And then I do actually think both teams will struggle this season. But looking at Sheffield United, and I know we're saying it's only the first game, and obviously we'll get into hours later on. But I do worry for Sheffield United that I don't think they'll score enough goals to stay up, and I think they'll concede too many, because I think even though the first goal was a nice goal, I think the defending for Carly's goal could be better, and plus we don't know. I mean, we don't know what's going on with Sheffield regarding if they finished the signings, because where they are at the minute, I can't see them staying up, to be honest, with that squad. But yeah, they huffed and they puffed, didn't they? They tried to get back into the game, and to be fair, I mean, the conditions looked awful for football, and bearing in mind that pitch is terrible at the best of times. It couldn't have been easy to play on. But yeah, first 3 points for Durham. Carly Johns often running in it, and if she scores, say, 10 goals this year, they'll probably stay up. And you cannot say that for the likes of Blackburn, the likes of Sheffield United, who've obviously lost their top scorer last year to London on the eve of the first game, which can't be easy. So I do fear for Sheffield United, but fair play to Durham. I see it to a gritted teeth, but it is what it is, isn't it?
I know that's the thing. It's like we want Northeast teams to do well, just not better than us.
I don't. I only want one Northeast team to do well. I'll be completely honest with you. I don't want Durham to do well, and I certainly don't want Newcastle to do well, but it is what it is.
That sounds bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing. And they did, I mean, considering how they were at the end of, during last season, at the end of last season, they look like they've strengthened and they're going to at least have a better season than they did, because they were almost like relegation battle, weren't they, last season?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and to be fair, I know that Abby Grant, who's had nothing but injury problems since she signed for Durham's got another injury. I think they said she's going to be out for a long time with a hamstring injury, so that's not good for her. But that's the thing with Durham; they've got to keep the better players fit. But what I'll always say this regarding Durham: that backline that they've got's brilliant, but it's another year where all that backline now, I would imagine, will be over 30, at least, or pushing 30, and it's to a point where if you get a team who's got pace, I think they'll cause a lot of problems for Durham. And so what Durham have done is strengthened the strike force, and like I say with Carly Johns, it's a great sign, but they need to get goals from other places. You know, obviously Molly scored on Sunday, but she's got to chip in with a few. Obviously, the wingers who have got to chip in with a few, and I can't remember the winger's name now, the one I was thinking of. But it is. But they lost a lot of goals as well. Obviously, you know, Poppy Pritchard left last year, and you know she was providing goals and assists and everything. So yeah, let's see what happens with them.
Yeah. So, and again, you can't judge off an opening weekend, but we really don't want to judge off an opening weekend.
Well, I hope we're not judging off an opening weekend. We're in serious trouble if we are.
Oh yeah, and yeah, I don't know why I said that. Yeah, Chris has just put, how come there's only 11 teams in Championship now? Have I missed something? Yeah, so if anyone missed it, Reading had to drop out due to many issues, financial being one of them, and there wasn't enough time left for another team to be brought in, so hence only 11 teams, which means that, of course, Blackburn did not play this weekend. Just a quick one on that. How do you think Blackburn felt, by the way, watching everyone else have their match day one? And they can't get going until next week. Rosie, what do you reckon?
I mean, that's an interesting point. I didn't even think, with there being an odd number of teams, that it makes. I mean, how do match days work? Does one team just not play?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Newcastle missed this weekend, and we miss next weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it might be kind of good to have that time off. Like, one team has an extra bit of preparation for their match day one, but then obviously you sit back and you go, I just want to be playing, I just want to get it underway. So I guess there are those two sides of it.
Yeah, because I was looking at when I was looking forward to see which teams will be missing out when. Birmingham City don't miss a game until week 10, so they'll have managed to get a good run of form going until like November, I think. But then of course if we look at the other end, Portsmouth aren't playing on the last day. So their final day will be the week before, and they'll be watching all of the other teams going, don't score.
I mean, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is so, and they can't have worked it out any other way. They could have worked it out another way. They could have just promoted hashtag or put Lewis back in. You know what I mean? But the fact that it's odd, you know, there's that many gaps in the Championship anyway. Where, like, you know, you have your December break, which is fine, so you don't play for like 4 weeks, 5 weeks. But when like the FA Cup's on, and not many teams from the Championship, let's face it, are going to be in the latter stages of the FA Cup, but we miss out there. We've already got the international breaks. There's 2 extra weeks off as well. I just think it just makes the Championship a little bit more like a little bit less appealing for, you know. It's probably the reason why it hasn't got a good television deal at the minute, because there's just that many gaps. You keep that forward momentum. And we obviously go back to last season. We went into last 2 games, top of the table, and then we missed 3 weeks because there was international break and there was something else. And you're starting again, and that many times in this season, you have teams who have to start again. And to be honest, I think that's probably what stopped a few people from really having that good of a season last year, because that many gaps.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Shane's put a good one there. Missing the first game gives you a chance to see how other teams play and adapt your tactics. Yeah, absolutely. So watch out for Blackburn this week then when we do our predictions.
They've got London Lionesses, haven't they?
The what?
Have they got London? It's London they've got, haven't they, their first game? They're at home to London.
Yes.
Hang on.
The home to
So I remember
London.
looking.
I mean,
Yes. At home
you've got to be looking. You've got to be
yeah.
looking there, thinking, oh, they've got it. Well, London have got a draw, which you would have expected them to beat Newcastle. Plus the signing everyone that exists in the world at the minute. You're going to be thinking, oh Christ.
Yeah, that'll be. I can't wait to see the journey. And again, Rosie's going to talk to us about London City and Newcastle in a minute. But yeah, I can't wait to see their journey. And if all the money, all the players, all the signings actually do make the difference, or if they don't quite get there, and then it's like, okay, well, you need to. But we can talk about that another time. And do you want to get it over and done with, the Sunderland match?
If you want.
Come back.
I mean, I don't know if anyone follows our How We Hear the Lasses podcast on Twitter, but there's a hell of a match report on there that I wrote, and I would just read that, to be fair. Because there was maybe two highlights of Sunday. The first one was the Twix latte from Maggie's is absolutely unreal. And I mean unreal. Beautiful drink. And the second one is me co-host Charlotte got us there and back in one piece, which was, going through some really biblical weather there and back. I mean, at least it was sunny in Birmingham. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful day. But even when we got there, getting told that we're not allowed to park in the away end, in the car park, sorry, and basically said, we asked the question why. It goes, because away fans don't park here. So where do we park? I had to park in a street which had homeless people sat in the corner, litter everywhere. It was just, I didn't feel safe, and I'm a 6'1" bloke. I mean, if Charlotte had to go on her own, I really kind of would have feared for her safety. But we got in, and then the steward decided that he was going to be a job's worth and check our flag. Bearing in mind, Birmingham had 3 or 4 flags, which I don't think were checked, to see if our flag had a fire certificate, because us Sunderland fans like setting fires to flags. I don't know where that come from. So by all that, it got sorted out. Thinking, well, the game's got to be all right. To be fair to Sunderland, we started all right. Probably should have been 1-0.
Those first 5 minutes. Good, great.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly thought, this is class, this, and I thought Ellen Nadal started the game really, really well, as I mentioned before. I think getting over the result, she'll score some goals out, and we've just got to support her, which didn't happen. But even after that, we should have been 1-0 because Kit should have scored, and I think Lucy Thomas makes a really good save. But I think Kit should score there.
Yeah, it was really close, wasn't it?
I think your striker should score there, though. Even if she's sliding in or something, just try and lift it or whatever. But it is a good save. And then it just all went wrong from there. And I'm trying not to relive this. I'm trying not to get too carried away because it is a bad result. And we're seeing things obviously with the men's side being so good at the minute. Try not to get too carried away with that, but it's impossible not to. With this, I think you've got to remember that this is pretty much the same side, and I do think we've strengthened relatively well. And last season, I finished third in the table, so it's one bad game, but it wasn't half bad. Basic errors, like the first goal. I think Demi Lamborn should just be coming out and trying to lower that angle. So just was it Quinn who scored the first? I can't remember the goal scorers now.
Yeah. So Lucy Quinn got the first one. It was a beautiful through ball though. When you watch them back, you're like, I can't be angry at these goals. I'm angry that they were against Sunderland. I can't be angry that they got them.
I think with that one, no. I think with the first one, you just got to just stop the angle. If she scores and you've come on, she bends it round, that's fair enough. The fact if we just give her that much time, The second goal, I think, is a great goal. Don't get us wrong, but if you watch it back, Jenna is following her player, and then stops and then goes again, and that player's the one who crosses the ball in for Lily. It's a hell of a header from Lily Ark. Don't get us wrong, fantastic header.
Yeah.
But that's avoidable. The third goal, we just let them do whatever they want, and they end up scoring. Fourth goal it's a penalty, and I think Demi maybe rushes off a line a little bit too quick. I'm trying not to be too harsh on Demi Lampong because I think she's a cracking goalkeeper. And then the fifth same again. They just pass it through us, and I mean Birmingham played well, but I think we made them look a hell of a lot better than what they are. I think they're a good side. I think is it Akpram who plays in the middle for them, who they've just signed.
Akpan.
Yeah, she's a fantastic footballer, like a really good footballer. And I thought Niamh Herron was fantastic as well at the back, but we just made it too easy for them. And it's fair enough. If I don't mind losing games of football. I mean, I'm a Sunderland fan. I've seen us lose countless games of football. But when your team, it looks as if they're not trying. It looks as if, they're just letting... It looks as if they just stopped after the first goal had gone in, to be honest. And when you're seeing that on the pitch and you've travelled all that way, and they probably don't mean for that to happen, don't get us wrong, but you've travelled all... I just think it hurts that a lot more when you're coming back from Birmingham thinking, well, what on earth happened there? Luckily enough, we don't have a gap this week, so we can get it. We can try and put it right. And obviously, we've got Southampton on Sunday, which is a difficult game. But I always feel when we play Southampton, we do kind of have some edge over them. But it's just an absolute disaster first game of the season. I've never seen anything like that for the opening game. I don't think I've ever seen a team play as badly as I saw Sunderland on Sunday, and it makes you wonder. As I mentioned, last time I was on this podcast regarding pre-season, it makes you wonder what's actually been going on, because they just looked off it, didn't they? They looked off the pace, especially the midfield and the defence looked so off the pace. It was quite scary, and that could have been 7 or 8 quite easily had Birmingham took the chances. And even, I mean, fair play to Sunderland when Mel makes the changes. I think Grace Eade and Peggy McGuinness have come on, and I thought they were both excellent. I thought Ellen Jones was good as well, but you're like, how's that happened? And you're kind of feeling a bit sorry for Jessie Stapleton for one, because she's not a left back. You can just tell she's not a left back. But she got asked to play there. Maybe Grace Eade should have started there, because Grace Eade had a good season at left back last year, and Mary McAtee shouldn't have been on the bench. You've got to make room for her. And we've always been,
that.
Yeah, I'm always surprised when they play Katie Kitchen as a wide player, because Katie Kitchen's a 10 and is a great number 10. And you saw it a couple of times last year, and we saw quite a lot on Sunday. It was a prime example. Not one of Jenna Deere, Tash Fenton, it's not Tash Fenton's job, don't get us wrong, she's a 6, or Kira Flannery were helping the striker. They weren't getting into positions for her. They weren't, and it made such a hard job for Ellen Adele, because she just had no one to pass it to. Whereas Kitch would have been bursting the gut again, because that's what Kitch does best. And I'm not blaming Jenna, I'm not blaming Kira, because that's probably not their style of play. But we need to get Kitch back in there on Sunday, to be fair. But never mind.
And it wasn't. I think it was when the first goal went in, there was still a bit of a, okay, there's been some moments that can maybe come back. And then as soon as the second and the third, because it was 3 before half time, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And you just thought, right, okay, half time talk. Like, there was initially that hope, wasn't there? Like, right, half time, something's going to change. And initially, I thought they had a bit more spirit in those, first 5 minutes maybe. And then it just continued, didn't it? It just went. So, yeah, I don't know, like you said about pre-season, but it felt like they weren't where they were at the end of last season at all.
No.
Yeah. And again, those pressure situations of pre-season, yes, they're, pre-season friendlies and people are talking about getting back to the competitive fixtures, but it would be a shame if all of that pre-season, there wasn't that much of like a competitive edge, and they weren't pushed to where they need to be, if that makes sense. Like, it depends on the teams, but it'd be good to, if they were actually streamed, wouldn't they, to actually see where they were doing.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like I say, and I'm not gonna. I'm the last thing I'm gonna do is accuse Sunderland of doing it, taking the easy way out regarding pre-season because Mel and Steph wouldn't have let that happen. So you can kind of think it's a one-off as long as it is a one-off. You know what I mean? And teams, teams lose games of football. I think Birmingham last year I can't remember who they got hammered off as well. That was a 4 or 5-0 thing. You think that's it? It is sometimes a shock to the system and stuff. It was just a fact. It was the first game of the season that got me really worried. Like it's plenty of time to recover from it, of course. But when you're seeing, especially in the second half, teams who aren't running basic stuff, just aren't even clearing the lines properly, resulted to just long aimless balls up well in the deal. To be honest, even though we lost 5-0, it's difficult to say. I thought I had a good game. Because she did not stop running, and then when you just wanted one of them, and I don't want to I'm not an advocate for hurting players. We just wanted a proper 50-50 tackle to go through the ball, go through the player, just to G themselves up. You just wanted that, or just a good strong tackle, and there wasn't even that. There was just no fight, and that's what worries us the most. That yes, it's only one game, of course it is, and it won't define our season. But how do you recover from that? You've been hammered 5-0 on the first day of the season. There is so much pressure on them now on Sunday. So much pressure. And they're playing a decent side. Southampton are a good team. There's no easy games this year in this championship at all. But we're straight on there. And see if we lose to Southampton, we've got London after our break. And then we've got Newcastle, who both looked good on Sunday. So you're thinking, if we don't sort ourselves out, we could be 4 games without a win, and automatically there you're thinking, are we looking at our shoulders already? So, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'm not overly. I've calmed down a lot than what I was very angry on Sunday night. Hence why I wrote that match report, and I've had arguments with other Sunderland fans on Twitter and everything like that. I mean, I was upset, but I've calmed down now. But I mean, I am quite nervous going into Sunday because I just think you kind of thinking second game of the season, it's not really a must win, but I think it's definitely a must not lose for us.
That's the thing. It's getting something, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Just getting points on the board, getting something towards it. Because even that goal difference now, we saw it come down to goal difference at the end of last season. It literally everything counts, doesn't it? So yeah, I think that a good week of just heads down, getting back into it, and thinking, right, need a result. Let's keep going. Let's move forward, and just hopefully that kind of goes in the back of their minds. Right, we don't want it to happen again. That hurt too much.
I think they'll have learned a lot. Like I say, I think that they've probably learned a lot in themselves, and I think Mel probably learned that she can't really have Jessie Stilden playing at left back, and she definitely can't have Katie Kitch out wide. So I think there will be changes on Sunday. I'll be amazed if that's the same team on Sunday, and I'll be actually quite angry if it is, because I just can't see that working. And to be fair, I think it will change, because obviously Brie Westbrook went off injured, and it looked quite a nasty little injury what she got. So I'd imagine Jess Stilton just goes to centre half, and then they bring Grace Eade in, or Lou Griffiths might be fit or whatever. But they've got to get Kitch back on the 10. If that means dropping, Kira Flannery, if it means dropping Jenna Dia, then so be it. But they're going to have to get Kate Kitchen in 10.
That could be one of the new flags that you get with a fire certificate. Kitch is a 10, and just hold it up in front of the dugout, just like Mel.
She's already got a flag, so we can't really have to. But she's just minting. She bought see what happens on Sunday.
Yeah. So fingers crossed it was a one-off, and Sunderland don't do that to us again. So unfortunately that was 5-0. I do have to say though, Birmingham City, Amy Merricks has done a hell of a job since she's gone in, and
they'll be up there, won't they? If they play like that every week, they'll beat some good sides, and we are a good side. But I don't think anyone's had them as proper title contenders this year. I certainly didn't. No. But if they play like that, they will be up there. Yes, we made it too easy for them, but they've got some talented players, really talented, from front to back as well.
Yeah, definitely. And from where I was sitting as well, I was watching both managers, and even when the subs were coming on and off, and there just seemed like an energy and a spirit about Birmingham where they were like, "Oh, it's not enough," and they kept doing right till the end. And again, you just wanted that Sunderland, didn't you? Just keep fighting, keep going, and hopefully something came from it.
I think Paul's cat agrees with us.
Nancy does. She's over the other side of the room. Wait,
I thought it was people playing outside. I was like, what's going on out there?
come and say hello to the people, Nancy. You know, you're a celebrity now. Come on. You'll see her appear in a minute.
Good with some opinions on the teams. Danny is joining us. Good evening, Danny. Just getting what have I missed? You've just missed Ant regaling us with thoughts on Sunday. But go back, Danny. It was worth it for that one.
We haven't had an Ant rant this season on the men's side of things, so I have to put out the bag somewhere, haven't we? You know what I mean?
Brought you up to the women's side.
Could be worse, couldn't it?
Hey, between you and Paul, we've just got the show started. Like, me and Rosie can just chill, take a step back, and just let you two go for that one. Right, next up, we're going to talk about the other big scoring game. Paul, we're going to come to you for this one. Charlton Athletic 3, Portsmouth 0. Now, for this one, we need to talk Barton, back heels, and Brazil, don't we?
We do. The 3 Bs.
The 3 Bs. Take it away.
So I can see Graham already. You know, he's appearing in the chat, which is better than.
I was going to say, Graham's like, yes, my team. Here we go.
Don't worry, you won't get any rant. You might get the odd one-liner, Graham, but it'll be a good one. Yeah, Ellie Brazil's a player and a half, isn't she? Like, so we knew, and we picked her out last week as a player and a half, but she really is a cracking player. You're getting the cat's arse. Sorry, there we go. Which was her opinion of Sunderland's performance. Go on. No. Yeah, Ellie Brazil, we picked her out and said she'd be the key player. We picked her out and said that she'd score goals. And it was, you know, she just finished. She just looked like a WSL striker. Kaylee Barton's back heel. If that happens in the WSL, that's all over Sky for a week because it was better than Russo's because Barton actually meant it.
Yeah, if people haven't seen the highlights of the Charlton match, please go back just for that back heel. It was phenomenal. Just for the record, there is a bit of confusion over what her name actually is because technically she's Kaylee Green, and that's what most people know her as with, you know, Welsh international and everything. But she recently got married, so obviously you have the thing with surnames. So for people who are saying who's Kaylee Barton, it's Kaylee Green. It's the Welsh international who we're talking about. But thank you. But honestly, Charlton didn't need a moment of skill like that to win the game because Portsmouth turned up and Portsmouth, you know, they're adjusting for a new team, a new league. They are going to have that culture shock, and I think they will be better because this is the level you need to play at. You know, this is like Birmingham for Sunderland because it'll be the message of this is the level you need to play at every single week if you want to do anything in this league. But Charlton as a whole just looked, I don't know, there was a purpose about them. Yeah, very strong. That wasn't there last year, even though they were finished second. There wasn't that ruthlessness, that edge, and Ellie Brazil gives that because she's an absolute stone cold killer in the penalty area. She'll just, you know, she only needs one shot. You give her the ball 12 yards out, and probably 6 or 7 times she's at least making the goalie make a save, which is the kind of thing you want. Not many strikers in the Championship can do that. And she's so quick. Like, it's insane. Her runs are just mental. Like, I think Charlton might occasionally have the problem, to be honest, that her runs are at too high a level for some of their players, in the sense that she'll make the runs and some of their players might take a half second extra to spot them. Because they're not, you know, it's not international Spurs midfielders spotting her. It's not, you know, the likes of Ramona Petzelberger who was playing at the time. It's not the likes of Grace Clinton seeing the run. It's the likes of Kate Longhurst, who, God bless her, she's a very, very good player, but she's agricultural.
I think is the polite way of putting it. You know, if
Very cultural.
she's
That's what we're going with.
that's what we're going with. She just by that, I mean, she just keeps on pulling, and she's always dependable, reliable, like a tractor. You see, that was what I meant. I'm just digging myself out of a hole.
Jerking yourself along from the hole. Yeah.
It's like, but yeah, she kind of does that job. You've got Charlton with Carla Humphrey as well is a very, very underrated player. I was surprised when Liverpool let her go, and she can feed passes through. And I will sing the praises of Best Row till the cows come home. I absolutely love it. I will fanboy about Best Row, like genuinely. Graham, if you send me a Best Row shirt, I will wear it every single week. Like, just because I love flying fullbacks, and she is the very definition of a flying fullback. And she's been at Charlton ages as well. As for Portsmouth, Hannah Horton, it seems silly to say this in a 3-0 loss, but Hannah Horton had an epic goalkeeping performance. Some of the saves she made was just, you know, it could have been 6 or 7. We could have been talking about a sobering arrival in the Championship for Portsmouth, and we're not. We're talking about a loss, but we're not talking about 6 or 7 because of Hannah Horton. And
some brilliant saves there.
And it's kind of you can't really judge Portsmouth on this, I don't think, because they came up against a very, very motivated title contending team with a WSL striker who had a dream debut with 2 goals. Jodie Hutton as well, another former WSL player.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that. That was a screamer. That was insane.
I mean, I was actually reading something on the BBC, I think it was, about the death of the screamer in football because of thanks to the likes of Pep Guardiola and all their boring tiki-taka rubbish like Spain play. But it's good to see a proper old-fashioned screamer, isn't it? Like genuinely. You love them. Like Martha Harris's goal, the one I picked for Championship goal of the season last year, was an absolute proper old school screamer, and Jodie Hutton's goal was that. So that was much appreciated.
It was so nice this week though, going through the highlights, just kind of refreshing my memory, and to really enjoy all of them. Like all of them seemed to have something that were long enough to actually have a proper like highlight package. Whereas before you'd get like 10 seconds on a game and over, right, done. But it just seems like there's been a complete shift, doesn't it, this season? We've all said there's something going to be a bit different. But yeah, Paul, do you feel that kind of across the board there's something special going to happen this season?
With the league as a whole?
Yeah.
It's interesting you say this because I want to shout out Catherine Batt, obviously the Daily Mail football writer, who is one of the excellent women's football journalists we mentioned. She actually wrote on the eve of the season what for her, well maybe not for her personally, but certainly it was an eyebrow raising article because it wouldn't have won her any friends in the corridors of women's football power. Like she properly went in on how the new owners and how was it Women's Professional League Limited? Is that what Women's
Professional Leagues Limited? Yeah.
Women's Professional Leagues Limited. Yeah. WPLL.
Flows off the tongue. Yeah.
Flows off the tongue beautifully.
Still not its proper name. Just everyone reminder. Still not its proper name.
They are the ones who kind of got well and truly hammered by Catherine, and Catherine will go after people like where there's cause, but she really properly went for it and said something along the lines of the Championship is collateral damage in the eyes of WPLL, and it's like, oof, that is a line. On the first day of the season to throw that one out there is a heck of a line. And it was great. It was great to see. And thank you, Sean, for nicking my favourite footballing term for describing Jodie Hutton's goal. absolute thunder bastard. There you
There
go.
we go.
Properly put the laces through it, as it were.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're talking about old school football terms, Catherine Batt's thing was a 2-footed tackle. Like, she really went through WPLL, and I hope that she's wrong, actually, and I hope that we'll see them push it. But I was very cynical, and we'll get onto it shortly when Rosie talks about it. That the media circus about the championship was all around the game with the two ridiculously rich owners who PR things, rather, and didn't really even mention any of the others. Like Charlton have really made some strides, and they didn't even get a mention.
Well, and so I was there at the Birmingham Sunderland game as well, and I was in the press box for it. Guess how many people are in the press box? Opening day at St Andrews, Birmingham Sunderland.
I'm going to go 3. Because when I was there to do commentary, there were 2.
4.
Including you.
Including me.
To be fair, though, there wasn't that many more fans.
That's also a very good point. It was 1,289 was the attendance at St Andrews.
I mean, it's probably a good job because that St Andrews press box is not nice. Quick behind the scenes look. Go in St Andrews at the press box. You go in through the fancy, swanky main doors and past the
lovely little press lounge. Lovely.
You get the press lounge. You get the big honours board with all the captains and everything, and then you go up those stairs, and then up past the big fancy players' lounge or whatever it is, and then there's this little door on the right, and they go, "Oh, it's through there." You go through there, and it's like a servant's staircase, isn't it?
Yeah,
like literally.
It is.
It's about 2.5 feet wide. I practically had to go up it sideways, and I'm not that big.
No, it is. Yeah, because I followed up Sam, the lovely press officer, and he was like, yeah, it's just up here. Go up them stairs and choose where you want to sit. So, like you up the stairs, had my backpack, I had like all things, and I was like, I can't. Yeah, right, okay. It's tiny. Like,
there's a proper 90-degree turn at the top as well. It's really weird to go up this narrow staircase and come out into a football stadium. You think you're going to come out into like something out of Assassin's Creed or something, just like a small tower room that you're going to have to swan dive off.
Yeah, it's into the middle of the pitch. Yeah. But yeah, so when I went out, so the top part of the press box was completely empty. And I was like, am I the only one here? And then went down a few steps, and that second tier, there was me, another older guy, who was just on his phone ringing people down on the bench. I don't quite know what he was writing for. Another lad I got chatting to was part of he does like the matchday programs and like that side of social media. Someone else, and yeah, someone else further along. And then 2 Birmingham City technical staff who were watching from above. And that was it. And then right at the end, I was kind of the only one to go down to the pitch and
actually do anything,
and actually do anything. Yeah, I was kind of like, oh, does no one else care? Like, where is all the media attention? And then you saw the London City match,
and you realise all the media attention was.
Right? Okay.
I mean, part of it will be I'm meant parking in St Andrews. Having to go round Bordersley at all is not fun. As a Midlander, it's a throwback. Is Bordesley? It's where Peaky Blinders was filmed. Believe it or not, Garrison Street and all that stuff is in Bordesley. So
yeah,
and some of it hasn't been rebuilt since. Like,
no, it hasn't.
At least we don't have to go back.
Well, that's true. Yeah, it got out of the way for the season.
Hopefully, we don't get them in the cup. Somewhere along those lines.
Yeah, she's like refusing to go. Like, nope, not parking here again.
I'm not going to St Andrews again. No.
I
don't think so.
Just completely wiped. It's not a stadium. It's not a ground. It's not anything. It's nothing to do with this.
I mean, I feel bad because they kind of Coventry City played there for a season, but and Birmingham. I mean, it's still full of asbestos, so It's
Yeah, 'cause they found it in the
nice
roof,
feeling.
didn't they? When they were redoing it.
They had to dig out underneath it. So it's I actually when I went there, the press officer took great pride in going, "Oh, do you want to come and see the work they're doing?" And I kid you not, it was like something out of the Black Country Museum. Like honestly, walk down the end here. Here's a hole in the wall, and you look in there, and there's just complete darkness and rock, and you expected to see a pit pony crawl out of there. It was absolutely, it was shocking to say the least. And so, yeah, it's probably a good job that Sunderland are out there. But Charlton, cracking start to the season, and when Charlton go to St Andrews, they have got a good chance of getting the win. They'll probably
That'll be a good one.
that'll be a good one. That one now.
That'll be a really good one. Yeah, there's so many matches that are like, I can't wait to see that lineup. So in a roundabout way, that was Charlton Athletic 3, Portsmouth 0. So Rosie, we've kind of been teasing this match kind of from the beginning.
Mhm.
Now it's time to talk us through it. So you here, London City, you were there. Part of it, London City 1, Newcastle 1. I don't know if I expected a bit more of that, purely because it was so hyped up, because everyone was talking about it, and it was like the one to watch, the one to beat. That was the one chosen for YouTube as the match they were streaming. So yes, Rosie, tell us all about it.
Well, it was supposed to be the match of the season, but because it was the first game, it just wasn't, and it wasn't what it was hyped up to be.
No, yeah.
I mean, yeah, so talking about press, the way London City did it was very clever. So they just messaged, it was me in the press box and like almost every women's football creator you can name. So literally the club just reached out to everyone and they were like, come along, we'll get you in the press box, free ticket. So I do think, I mean, the rest of the media, it was hyped up to be a good game, but I do think the club was really clever in the way they did that. And the way they got people to come. And then it was just, yeah, I mean, the game in itself, I think London City looked shaky at the back. So I had Rusha Littlejohn in my ear. So it was me sat here and then the injured players right behind me. So literally for 90 minutes, I had Rusha Littlejohn in my ear, which love Rusha, but she's very loud. You can imagine my ears were hurting. And then also Megan Campbell on the other side of me. So, you know.
Oh, of course.
Very Irish there. Very loud.
Was Megan Campbell still taking throw-ins? just from the stands.
It's probably about the same distance, isn't it? Back from where she usually gets.
It was, yeah, you can hear their opinions, which are quite interesting, actually. After the first goal, it was Shania Hills for Newcastle and Georgia Broom is her name. How do you pronounce that? Georgia Broom. She looked up at the stands at Megan Campbell and went, was that my fault? And Megan was like, no, because she was 1v1 with Shania in the box. And she was like, no, you should never be that. So it was like, yeah, it was just shaky from London City there. I mean, the back three weren't really gelling. I mean, Georgia was doing her best. Tia Goldie, I mean, she tried to scrap everyone at the end. Not sure what else she did. But
that was brilliant, by the way. That was so good. The
last 10 minutes, everyone just started fighting each other. I think they just got a bit bored and were like, we might as well have a scrap.
Yeah.
And there were 5 yellow cards given to London City and 3 to Newcastle. And again, I had Rusha talking not my ear off, talking everyone in the stadium's ear off about the ref. Can you imagine what she was saying? A few foul words in there. But yeah, I mean, stats were quite even. It was, I think Newcastle had a better start and then London City kind of livened up. But it was a very even game and it certainly wasn't the biggest game of the season. Well, I hope it's not, otherwise boring season. But,
I was going to say, because even the way you're talking about it, and I think for everyone watching it as well, it was just a bit of a meh.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, I mean, Aslani looked really good for London City. I think she's going to be a huge signing for them. She kind of clattered with the board. What's it called? The board behind the goal. At the end there, but I think she looks all right.
All right.
Yeah, she was walking around afterwards, but she looked very good.
Yeah, because that was kind of when she first signed. Again, we were all still a bit in shock. I think till this day, until I saw her in the actual kit that she actually signed, because it still didn't seem real. But yeah, it just felt like with Newcastle getting that opener, you thought, oh, you can't let them get the 3 points. Like London need to try something here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think when she got that equaliser, from watching it, it felt like they all went, oh my god, we can do it, like we've got a goal.
Yeah, there was a sense of hope there. I mean, they were expected to win it, right? I mean, obviously Newcastle had some amazing signings, but you can't, I mean, signings can only go so far in the first game because you've got to allow that time to, you know, gel and adjust to, a lot of those players won't play in the Championship before. So yeah, I don't know, although London City were expected to win, it was very even.
To be fair with London and maybe Newcastle as well, I don't think you'll see the best of them until November, December time, because you've got to give these players a chance to settle in. It happened last year with Birmingham, who they signed so many players and started really badly. You've got to let them gel on the training pitch and everything. So the best time to play London will be the first month of the season, whilst they're still all bleeding in. Because once they do because they've got too many good players there not to be good. Once they do start gelling, once they click, it just takes that one result and then they'll be flying. It's up to like the other sides, like Charlton, to get ahead as quick as possible and play catch up.
Yeah, I think both sides would have been happy with the draw there.
Yeah, definitely agree. Just one of those after the Lord Mayor show, isn't it? The amount of build-up that it got. And it just didn't sound like a good game. You know, the first half seemed okay. Obviously, that's where both the goals came from. But like the second half was just a non-event, wasn't it? Up until when everyone decided they wanted to replicate to a degree and have a Royal Rumble in the middle of the pitch.
What do you think about all the controversy, Rosie? Because certain WSL influencers apparently decided that the biggest problem in women's football was Michelle Kang turning up to watch because she took a private jet. And apparently this is horrific that a billionaire used her money to get from one place to another quickly.
How dare she go to a club that she owns to support them on their first game of the season? How that couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I've got a really good video of her just high-fiving all the players as they went in.
I mean,
I also waved at her.
I'll be slightly keen. Oh, she's got her on, you know, after the coverage. You'll get a letter from her. You know, hiya Rosie. But did you think that because I have been very cynical about London City's crowd in general. Do you think that there is potential to get people in there? Were there many people who you felt there was kind of a culture of London City fans there? Because a lot of Newcastle fans travelled because they travel in waves. But did it feel like, you know, there might be the start of a football culture there, or?
I think so. I mean, Newcastle away fans were brilliant. You could see them; they've got like their face painted. They were chanting the whole way. But I don't know. It felt like for the first game of the season, you'd expect more than just maybe some people that were there because it was a big game, and then some proper fans just going City for the whole 90 minutes. I don't know. I think there's the opportunity there to bring that crowd in and to bring those regulars that are going to come every week, but it just felt a bit, you know, they were there because of the occasion, not because of the match. So you wonder how sustainable that is.
Franchise FC is all I'm saying, and that I'm not going to go full rant because we'll be here all night. But I was just genuinely curious about that as someone were there and seeing it, and you know, was there actually a crowd there of London City fans who have seemed like they were there to actually support London City rather than just because Kosovo was there and they've been told to turn up?
I mean, yeah. Don't know. There weren't many, but
There were a few Arsenal shirts in the crowd. For
Here we go.
go on, Rosie,
Why
have a
are you
rant.
going-
Go on, go on.
Right, the two teams, London City Lionesses, Newcastle. Is Arsenal there? No. Why are you wearing an Arsenal shirt? I don't get it. Arsenal aren't there.
There was a man at the Birmingham Sunderland game with a Newcastle backpack on. He was at the wrong friggin' stadium.
He got lost.
Just, I don't understand the Newcastle backpack. Why?
He didn't. I mean, considering I only spotted it at like the end of the game, he didn't half get an evil stare from me. And I think had he looked back, I probably would have said something. But
I mean, the really evil joke
I
is,
don't understand that either. Like Arsenal shirts being at a game where Arsenal aren't playing. I think it's just a little bit stupid, isn't it?
the really evil joke there was that the guy with the Newcastle backpack was there monitoring the journalists. But that one might be a bit dark for the women's football podcast, but.
Yeah, it's 9:30. It's fine. But yeah, it's just the only time I'd maybe get it, and again, tell us if you disagree. If you've got a shirt with that player on the back, and then you go to a game that they're playing in, would that be acceptable?
Are we going back to the Piemonte debate from last season now? Are we?
I still haven't got a Lazio shirt. I'm still
Do you know what it is? For me, and this is just like because I've got a whole other like kind of story about football tops. So I would ban them from Monday to Friday until your team plays at a weekend because I just fed up of seeing people hanging around like Durham where I live with Newcastle tops on, and literally like going to the shops. You know what I mean? Put something on. You know what I mean? Put something decent. I'm putting England top on. But when you go to a game where your team isn't playing, and what's an Arsenal shirt got to do with London City Lionesses versus Newcastle United? You've fair play in the WSL where you could be going to watch. Yeah. It just for me, yeah.
Is it just Arsenal fans need to be noticed? Like, they just have to be in the centre of absolutely everything.
Well,
because they're the biggest club, and they're the ones,
didn't they?
Yeah, they're the ones who drive all the fan engagement. No other club does it. You need to remember this. Arsenal are responsible for everything. But it is. Who would like? I think I would if Shannon O'Brien moved to say Sunderland, or if I had a Coventry United shirt of say Ellen Jones or Mary McAteer. I think I could go to a Sunderland game wearing Mary McAteer's Coventry United shirt because Coventry United don't exist anymore, and it's her former team. But I wouldn't turn up at, even if she assuming she moved back, I wouldn't turn up at a Sunderland game wearing Bridget Galloway's Newcastle shirt, for example.
Okay. Rosie, how about this one? What if I turned up to a Chelsea match in Lucy Bronze's Barcelona shirt?
I don't personally agree with it. I don't know. I think if it's an international shirt, if you've got an England shirt with Lucy Bronze in the back, fine.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I think, especially because Barcelona and Chelsea are kind of rivals, it's just weird. I don't like it. And also, I've just read Emma's comment saying Arsenal is in London and London City is, but London City Lionesses is in Bromley, which is not London. Can I just say? It's miles away.
The London borough of Bromley, apparently.
Isn't it technically in Kent? They've just moved.
Kent, yeah.
They've just moved from one side of Kent to another.
It's in Kent, and then Arsenal are in North London. It's not. No.
Didn't Palace play in Bromley last season? Am I completely made that up? Yeah, they did. Yeah, I thought they did.
Well, we know now. North London is white anyway, apparently, because Arsenal on their own website put a Spurs badge over the top of Arsenal for the Champions League when they played Rosenborg. And so that's just okay. North London forever. North London is white. Did you see? Speaking of weird fan behaviour, did anyone see how annoyed stuff really blew up on TikTok because the AFC Wimbledon players in the third tier on the way back sang South London Forever. And the outrage from Arsenal women fans about how, no, it's North London Forever. It's like, firstly, that song's crap. Secondly, it was written in 2022. So it's got no history whatsoever. It's not exactly You'll Never Walk Alone. It's a freaking dirge by some hat-wearing, guitar-playing, craft ale drinking wanker. Sorry.
I can beat that one. Did we all see the video of the footballing icks and for the championship media day? And I can't remember who it was, but they said my biggest ick is Arsenal fans.
I've got an issue with that.
Right.
I've got an issue with that as well. That championship post had 2 teams missing. You see that? That was on all the promotional posts and stuff. We start again. There was only 9 teams in. There was us and Charlton missing.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm. That's on my Twitter. That's on my Twitter. I said, "Oh, we playing golf or something this season." But apparently, it's because our strip wasn't available at the time. So right, okay, so AI doesn't exist. You know what I mean? You can make anything with AI, just how you put the red and white top on them. You know what I mean? But us and Charlton weren't in the promotional poster.
You can't wear a red top, like a red top and a red and white striped t-shirt that looks vague. I mean, you're in London.
Just wear last season's. It's red and white. It doesn't.
Buy an old Brentford top. Just enough teams playing red and white.
Yeah, that's really bad. No, I hadn't noticed that, Ant.
I'll send you it. There'll be somewhere on me Twitter. I definitely retweet that. I see. That's where I put something like, "Are we just playing golf this season?" or something along those lines.
So bad. Yeah, because the WSL one as well. They didn't have all the teams.
No, there's 3 missing in that one, isn't there? Yeah.
And you just think, why bother? Or just get if they're off on a camp or something, just get one of them to stand in front of a green screen or stand in front of a plain background, and you can just Photoshop them out. It can be done. It can be done. But yeah, just bizarre. Again, women's football media, very bizarre. Very, very bizarre. So that did all stream from London City 1, Newcastle 1. And the last one we're coming to, Paul, we'll come back to you for this one. Southampton 1, Bristol City 1 for this one. Now, let's have a look. Lexi Lloyd-Smith felt inevitable for most of that match, but Southampton nearly gave them a bit of a scare, didn't they? So what did you make of that match, please?
I mean, Amy Palmer only scores bangers, apparently. For Leicester City last season, she scored 1. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite a Thunder Bastard because there wasn't enough raw power on it. But it was still, a classic Amy Palmer drive from a way out and a frustrated goalie getting really annoyed when it goes in. But yeah. Bristol City, considering all the turmoil they've had this season, especially with Southampton having not really had much turmoil and having had all of that money put in, they've got Marianne Spacey. They've actually got a women's director of football, which I'm trying to think of other clubs in the Championship that actually have a female director of football, as opposed to someone who, an assistant manager or something. Everyone has the infrastructure, but for someone to be, your director of football, that's fairly rare in the women's game outside the WSL.
Yeah.
And, they've got Marianne Spacey-Cale, who I was never hugely convinced by as a manager in the Championship because, she's got an amazing pedigree. as a player, obviously in an international and all of those caps and everything else. So she knows the game really well. But Southampton possibly underachieved slightly. So this season, it was interesting to see them. And again, first game of the season at St Mary's with a decent sized crowd. Southampton, by the way, in my opinion, have one of the best intros in women's football, because they have the live brass band playing "Oh When the Saints," like marching around the pitch, and the full-on light show and everything. They go full on with like the men's game as well. They really try and sell it and use all the programmed lights and everything. If you suffer epilepsy, then be warned. Southampton games, you might need to kind of shut your eyes for part of the intro. But apart from that, but yeah, they're just. I do wonder if Southampton. We were picking in the preview teams that could underachieve and surprise. I do wonder if Southampton could surprise negatively.
Now,
After seeing that, because you'd have expected them to win that game. I think most of us either picked a draw or Southampton win from the predictions. So
yeah, we did. I mean, we also predicted a Sunderland win across the board. So I can safely say our predictions aren't great so far this season. But yeah, I've still got them. Yeah, I did. So we predicted, Southampton across the board to win that one.
Yeah, and they just, I don't know. They've got all the quality, but there's something off. And
Katie Wilkinson's a big miss, isn't she? But she could score from anywhere, couldn't she? For Southampton, big miss for them, right?
Yeah, she. It's interesting. I'm surprised she didn't get a championship gig this season, but she had former manager Joe Potter and Jay Bradford, and Coventry United strike partner Rio Hardy as well, presumably telling them to go up there. And the Scottish League is probably a little easier. And she's a couple of years older now, and maybe it's just, we'll go up and I get to play at Ibrox, one of the iconic stadiums in the world, and you can't really blame her. But it has left Southampton with a big hole to fill, because I was surprised they let Emily Craft go on loan to Hearts, because she, playing for Lewis, has been, she's a proper target player of a striker.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you watch the highlights, Southampton just lack that focal point that Wilkinson gave them, that someone like that might have given them. And I wonder if that this season could impact them and could be an Achilles heel.
Oh, that's a good point.
But it was one of those games where it looked good on paper, and then you watched it, and unfortunately, football's played on grass, and just it was not one that will live long in the memory, I don't think.
No, I thought watching it, Bristol should have probably won it.
Yeah,
but it was a bit of a neither now nor something, was it? Really, that game.
I mean, if Amalia Testrup had been playing for Southampton, they'd have won it. I think, because Testrup is the type of player who Southampton desperately missed. And I think we'll see a first half of the season where everyone starts kind of going, what's wrong with Southampton this season? And then in January, the Premier League money comes in, and it's like, yeah, right, let's sort this. And
let's go.
It'll be a different second half of the season for them. That is my thinking of how it'll go, because they just looked a little bit beige.
Yeah.
It didn't, when you compare them to the likes of Charlton, who look like they've had that ruthless cutting edge. Birmingham, I'm not going to judge, because they were playing against a team who basically didn't turn up from both of your accounts. So You know, it's
Yeah,
hard.
we'll give it a few more matches. We'll
give that one a few more matches before judging Birmingham. But Charlton, Portsmouth have turned up and ready to play. Charlton really turned up and played. And Southampton, as a team given the chance to make a statement on the first day of the season, just didn't. They were given the microphone and they just kind of went, "Oh, okay, fine."
Opportunity, yeah. Because we all said like, oh, they're going to be up in and amongst it again, like they did so well last season. But yeah, hopefully it's just a bit of a blip, and then hopefully they come back over the next few weeks. So unfortunately, the table looks a bit like this, with Birmingham, Charlton, and Durham all winning their first games. And we'll not talk about the rest of it. So at the moment, Birmingham are at the top of the table on goal difference for that one. So we'll just focus on the right half of the screen because I'd like us to do some predictions, please. So I'll come to you one at a time. Got my little notepad and pen ready. So Ant, I'm going to come to you first. Portsmouth, Durham. What do you think could happen here?
I mean, Durham are getting the games where it's literally the teams they need to beat in order to steal. They did that against Sheffield United.
Yeah.
Portsmouth's first home game need to really be on song. I think Durham will just have enough. We'll know Durham 2-1. Through gritted teeth.
Even a score prediction. Oh,
well, I've never done these before. I'll just do score predictions. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, right. That set the tone for the evening. Right, everyone else score predictions as well. Paul, what do you think? Portsmouth, Durham.
Play up Pompey 2-1 at Fratton Park. At Fratton Park because Portsmouth as a club have really hyped their women's team the past season or two, and so I think there will be a lot of people turn up for that one. So Fratton Park crowd, Durham, a good first home opponent, but a beatable one. And again, like Ant says, Portsmouth, one of the teams Durham need to beat to ensure safety come the business end of the season. Conversely, Portsmouth will probably be looking at this going, yeah, Durham are one of the teams we need to take points off, particularly at home.
Sure. Are they playing at Fratton Park?
They are.
Are they? Oh. They've it's down as Wesley Park still, that's all.
Which by the way is one of the most picturesque grounds in the country. I love Fratton Park, but it's half timbered little bit of it. And it's by the sea, which always helps.
It is. That does also help with that one. Rosie, what are you thinking for this one?
I'm thinking 1-0 Durham. Just because, I don't know, I think it'll be really, really tight, but Durham will just nick it. I don't expect 2-1 because I think that's too many goals. I don't know. I think it might be tighter than that.
Yeah, 1-0 the match. I'm going to play devil's advocate and go for a draw 1-1. I'm going to go. Okay, and all the way down. Yeah. It's going to be boring.
You won't wave at us again.
I waved so many times at you, mister. So many. And in fact, we did definitely wave at each other. Because I was saying to the lads, I can't remember his name, James. I'm actually making that up. I was like, oh, that's Anne and Charlotte. I know them. And we both waved at the same time. Yeah, that's my proof of that one. But yeah, Anne, Sheffield United, Charlton. What do you think?
Charlton, very comfortable. Probably 3-0 again, I think.
Ooh,
I think they'll be the team who goes up this season. I think they need to prove after what happened last year, where I think they thought they should have gone up. And if the home form had been any better, they would have gone up. But for me, I think they're the team to beat this year. I really do. I don't see it being Newcastle. I know that's what the media trying to say. I don't see it. I think it will be Charlton.
I think out of everyone it could be, apart from Sunderland, of course, I think I'd be really happy if Charlton went up.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Sean's on it. Yeah. We'll all get Van Charlton this season. Graham, you'll be happy with that one. Paul, what do you think? Sheffield, Charlton.
Charlton, hammering. 2 or 3. Clear goals. So 2-0. We'll go 3-0.
Go 3-0. Perfect.
We'll make Graham happy.
Yeah. Rosie, what do you reckon?
Going 2-0 to Charlton.
Ooh,
Comfortable.
Comfortable. I'm good. Yeah, I think I might agree 3 for that one.
Yeah.
Charlton 3. Lovely. Right. Next one. And back to you then. Blackburn, London City. Blackburn, London City.
Difficult one because we don't know. We're literally going in blind on Blackburn, aren't we? But
Yeah.
London are going to have to start winning. Blackburn. I'll kind of draw. I think it'd be. I don't know why. I just somewhat sneakily thinks. I think it's going to be a draw.
Okay. I'll put you down for a draw. Paul, what do you think?
I want to say Blackburn, like genuinely. I think
Okay.
at Ewood Park, Blackburn's first game, nobody giving them a chance. All the media basically expected, and Blackburn did start under Simon Parker. Blackburn did start last season pretty well, and everyone seems to forget that because they just kind of stopped. But they're a shithouse of a team. They ground out 1-0 wins. They're the most friggin' boring, frustrating, hateful football team to play against. But they get results, and particularly against a team like London City, who will be looking to play expansive football, and we've got all these skilled players. Blackburn will just stop them doing it. They'll just clog everything up. They'll just get a foot in everywhere. They'll make niggling little tackles. They'll slow the game down. And I don't think Kosovaras Louis can do it on a wet Sunday afternoon in Blackburn.
There's a challenge.
Leyland is where they are, and so I think Blackburn will keep on trucking. There you go.
I'm good at playing at Ewood Park this season because I really liked the Lancashire Sports Complex that we were at last year, and I really, really like Bamber Bridge. The only problem with the Bamber Bridge, the pitch was dreadful, but I really liked the stadium.
I'm glad someone did because
I loved it.
It was when you park in there and it looks like a campsite toilet. When you park outside, it looks like a campsite toilet block. It's just low and with corrugated cladding on it, and you go, really? This is a football ground? And then you kind of go in there and go, yes, it is. Or at least it looks like someone dumped a load of concrete and it rained for a couple of days. It's not the most beautiful ground in the world, is it?
No, hey, we're getting a lot of love for Blackburn coming in. 3-1, 3-0. So Paul, you going for Blackburn?
I'm going for Blackburn.
Okay. We got a score to go with it?
I'm not as confident as Chris and James at all. I think they'll shit out a 1-0. I think that's what's going on there.
That sounds good to me. Rosie, what do you reckon?
I'm going to go London City here. I'm going to say 2-1. I don't know, I just want to be different a bit.
It can't be boring, can it? Because,
what I saw from them on the weekend, I think they'll want more from their next match, and I think they'll go away and say, well, that was a bit shit. And I just know, I think they can get it. And with Blackburn with their week off, they wouldn't have got into the rhythm a bit, and I don't know. It's a bit shaky.
Is everyone really, really shocked that Rosie's just swore? What's going on?
Look, she didn't even realise. Look, she's genuinely.
She's like, no, put my guard down.
They didn't teach you that word at finishing school, Rosie, honestly.
That's what I heard from Richard Littlejohn all day.
Bad influence.
I love it. I'm going to go the opposite way, and I might go London City 1-0. Because I just, yeah, I think they're going to have to prove something for to get the scoring boots on. Because it just didn't quite work at the weekend.
So get the scoring boots on with a 1-0 away at Bamber Bridge.
Just the one boot. Yeah, just one. Just one boot.
Don't push the boat out. Just get a 1-0.
But they can't afford 2 boots, so.
With Michelle Kang in charge, they can
afford as many boots as they want, diamond encrusted and everything, isn't it?
Okay, 1 diamond encrusted boot, fine. I'll allow it. Okay, next up then, Ant, Bristol, Birmingham.
I think this is the hardest one to predict, to be honest. Because, as I've said before, I mean, Paul put it quite well about Bristol. They've had so much crap happen to them in the summer and stuff. They still don't have a manager, do they? So it's like, what do we expect from them? And then looking at how good Birmingham were against us. But Birmingham's problem last year was always consistency. They could blow away sides and look absolutely bang average. Just how good they were last week. I expect Birmingham to win. I'll go 1-0 Birmingham.
Oh, okay. 1-0. Lovely. Paul, what are you thinking?
It's at Ashton Gate. There's probably going to be 5,000-6,000 Bristol City fans turn up. But that didn't help them last year. I think Bristol City might sneak this.
Oh.
But okay. I also think draw. But I am absolutely loath to produce draws because draws are a communist conspiracy and shouldn't be in football. This comes from being a fan of American sport where they just have overtime and play until someone wins. So soon as I was introduced to that, I'm like, we should have overtime in the Premier League because it'd make life more interesting.
Okay, so Bristol by how many?
Bristol by 1.
Just 1? Okay.
Just the 1.
Ooh. Okay, Rosie, what are you thinking?
3-0 Birmingham City.
Ooh.
I'm going out there. I'm going rogue.
Is it just because I picked Bristol City?
No.
Is it a quiz question type thing? Is that what's going on here?
It's genuinely not. But I just thought, sorry, Ant, but they had a very good showing on Sunday, and I think they can score.
You're right.
Yeah, they can score goals, is what we've seen.
That's true. So final one then. Ant, Sunderland, Southampton.
I wish you could ask us an hour before kick-off when I say the Sunderland side, because then I will give you a more up-to-depth.
Head or your heart, you can choose.
Listen, I'm obviously going with heart, and going with Sunderland. We cannot possibly be as bad as that. We cannot. So, and I actually agree with what Paul said about Southampton. I really do think they'll struggle. I think they'll struggle all season, to be honest. Because I don't think they've strengthened where they needed to strengthen. But we also get to see some wonderful Southampton fans who make that travel. They are fantastic fans, I've got to say. And also, I get to see my favourite player outside of Sunderland in Millie Mott, who I think is a wonderful footballer. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think we'll win. I reckon it'll be a really nervy game. I'll go 1-0. We beat them last year 1-0. I'm basing on that.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Paul, what do you think?
I'm same as Ant. I don't think Southampton have the goals in them. Okay. And so I think you combine that with Mel Ray and Steph Libby probably in northeastern fashion, calmly and rationally kicking the players up the arse all week.
I don't think it will be calmly or rationally either.
Like I think Sunderland will come out like bats out of hell, because if they don't, then there's been a problem. Because any team that gets hammered that badly in the first game and is then up in front of their own fans, who you guys up in the northeast, there's passionate fans and there's the northeast. And I think Mel Ray and Steph Libby are aware enough, and I think more importantly, most of the Sunderland players, even the ones who aren't from that part of the world, will be more than aware that if they don't come flying out of that tunnel like bats out of hell, they'll know about it very quickly, not just from their own bench or the management, but from the stands as well. And so I think they kind of have to go for it. While we're on fans, by the way, Southampton fans are amazing travelling, and they do travel, and they do have some amazing podcasts. But I wonder if they'll be doing what the Newcastle fans did and fly. Because apparently a load of the Newcastle fans flew down to London City.
Cheap.
That's not a bad shout, to be fair. Cheaper than the train.
Strangely, wasn't mentioned by any crusading journalists.
Well, it wasn't a private jet, that's why.
Yeah, still. Yeah, well, they were all using separate flights, so it's probably more carbon emissions than one jet. But we like Newcastle, and they're amazing, and apparently they're doing everything for women's football, so we can't criticise them in any way.
Blink twice if you need help, Paul. It's okay.
It's if I start suggesting that I like the London City. If I start suggesting I like London City, then you have a problem. Arsenal fans are amazing. There you go. There's the blink.
That'll be the tell.
Is that being clipped now? Used against you.
If we clip that and we clip your swearing, because it was another rosy reaction face as well, like when you realised you'd sworn as well. So.
Okay, so Paul, is that you saying Sunderland are going to win?
That's me saying Sunderland, and I think it'll be by 2 goals. So we'll say 2-0.
2-0? Perfect. Yeah. Rosie, what are you saying for this one?
I'm actually going to agree with Paul for once and say 2-0. I think Sunderland...
Rosie, blink twice.
Sunderland will have something to prove after Sunday and just go out on the front foot and try and get some goals.
Yeah, we've seen them do it before. Last-minute winners. Yeah, I'm going to agree. Perfect. Well, thank you very much for your objections. Thank you for everyone in the chat as well, putting them in. And that's the thing. That's what makes this league so good. It was so hard to predict, and it was so hard to actually imagine what's going to come next and what's going to happen. So yeah, so tune in next weekend because it's going to be phenomenal as always. So I thought we can finish with some latest news then. So couple of bits and pieces then. We just want to say congratulations to Hannah Blundell from Manchester United, who has announced she's pregnant. So congratulations to her and her family. It was an interesting way she announced it. Did we see the video? Where she's like, I've got some good news and some bad news. Bad news, going to be out for the season. Good news, I'm pregnant. Yay. But yeah, so congratulations to
I did see the odd reply to that was, where's the bad news? And I was like, that's a bit harsh from her own fans. Like, genuinely.
Yeah.
And you kind of go, But yeah, the bad news is I can't play. The good news is it's because I'm having a baby. I thought that was a lovely way to put it.
It is, yeah. So yeah, really, really pleased for her. We've also got, we'll come back to Mark Skinner in a minute. Lauren Smith from Bristol City, she said, I'm leaving for an exciting opportunity. We now know what that opportunity is. England under-19s coach, isn't she? Paul, what kind of a fantastic job do you think Lauren Smith is going to do there?
I think she's a great pick because Bristol City Academy is one of the best in the country, and she was key in bringing several of those players through who are still playing for them. She was keen on bringing Brooke Aspin through, who is now at Chelsea, well, Crystal Palace, but Chelsea, one of the best players, one of the best young prospects in the league. And yeah, I fully agree with Danny. I think she's the perfect choice for that age group of young lionesses because of her track record of bringing those types of players through at Bristol City. And I think it's a really exciting appointment.
Yeah, I think she's going to do wonders. And one more thing. So, Sophie, thank you for reminding us here. Regardless of whatever we say about Man United, they did trigger her extension to her contract, so she could still get medical care, maternity pay. So they are looking after her during this time. So well done, Man United. We do. we will appreciate.
Best time that's ever been said on this podcast. Well done, Man
exactly. Yeah. So no one ever say we don't say nice things. We give credit where credit's due for that one. But good luck to Lauren Smith in her new role. Now the WSL transfer window is closing very, very shortly on Friday. Villa have surprised everyone, and they've suddenly gone for someone who people have actually heard of. They've gone for Gabby Nunes, who Brazilian footballer, won Olympic silver medal. Obviously, the Olympics just gone. And apparently she will become a club record signing for a reported, and we know numbers can change from what they actually are, but for a reported 250,000 release clause in her contract. Okay. Now, she's a centre forward, and looking at Villa's current forward options, it felt like if you were going to invest that much money, the forwards probably aren't the position we thought we'd need. Maybe a defender would be nice. But they've spent this money. So, and from kind of a statement point of view, what does that say that Villa are then willing to bring in a name, spend the money? Like, what kind of impact do you think that's going to have?
Was that for me?
Yes, and hello. Woo.
I thought you said and. Sorry. I think it just goes to show as well, and it's really good as far as Villa's concerned regarding the money that they're willing to spend. It's obviously come down from the Champions League money that they're going to be getting at some point this year from the men's side of things. But the only bother is I would have spent, as you said, I'd have spent on a centre half or two. You know, that money probably buys yourselves a new battle line. Do you need a centre forward? Yeah. Rachel Daly playing? Maybe not. But it's an exciting signing, though, isn't it? It's one of them, what you said before, isn't it? It's one of those ones where they've gone out and signed someone who's probably world-renowned footballer, who's, off the back of a decent Olympics and everything like that. So, yeah, I just don't see where she plays. I don't see where she starts unless you change her formation, but, yeah.
And that's the thing, because we all kind of went, oh, that's brilliant. We're going to spend money. One, where's that come from? But two, shows that they're investing in the women's side. Someone is actually pulling that trigger to be like, yeah, you can have this money. You can put it towards that players. Brilliant. But yeah, then it was the reality of, well, we don't need a forward. We have plenty. But yeah, Paul, have you got anything to add about Gabby Nunes from what you've seen? Do you reckon because she plays for Levante at the minute? And obviously the Brazilian side. Do you think she'll be a good fit?
I mean, I wonder if it's succession planning for Rachel Daly.
Maybe.
Because she's a few years younger, but she's still in the prime of her career. She's 27 years old. And Rachel Daly might be, it sounds harsh to say on the way down because she's not, but like maybe with retiring from the England squad and all of that sort of thing, maybe she's having one eye on life after football.
Maybe.
And there's a new manager coming as well who may have different ideas about how he wants to play.
Yeah.
And I wonder if this is Robert DePaul getting involved in the sense that he has looked at his squad and said, "Yes, we have forwards, but they don't play the way I want to." Go and get Gabby Nunes. She is the type of player who I want to play as my number 9.
Yeah, and starting to evolve what he's taken on, essentially.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because it's a lot of money to spend. You know, a €300,000 release clause is a lot of money in the women's game because isn't the record something? The record is probably something like double that because it was Rachel.
Yeah, it's the NWSL, wasn't it? Was that 750, 800?
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing that, you know, it's Myra Ramirez level money, if I remember correctly. Wasn't Myra Ramirez around 300K as well? Or am I imagining that completely?
Well, Kira Walsh was the most expensive. Was she about 500?
I think Myra was above Kira.
Yeah, wasn't she
She
about
was the record until
maybe?
Yeah, I think she was about 6, 7.
Let's have a look.
That might be me misremembering them for some reason, thinking that
because it's Myra and then 2 NWSL players.
Yeah, so they will receive €450,000 or 384,000 for the Colombian forward, plus up to about 40,000 extra in add-ons. So yeah,
that's where it was. It was the amount in pounds, not euros, that I was working in.
Yeah.
So, but €300,000, like you say, is still £250,000.
That's a hefty amount for the women's game, yeah. Absolutely.
It's a hefty amount, unless you're London City, who'll pay it for a teenager. But you know,
and a private jet.
But I think it's a sign of Villa evolving, and I think anyone, if you actually look at it, it's natural as a fan to look at it and go, we've got forwards. You know, why are we buying another one? But then when you start thinking about it and thinking, hold on a minute, we have got forwards, but we've got a new manager.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going on here. I think we'll see Gabby Nunes play a lot, possibly more than Rachel Daly once she's actually settled, because I think she is the girl for Robert DePaul, and that's what's going on there.
Yeah, because even looking at stats, annoyingly, I've closed them. But there we go. Last season, 28 matches, 11 goals, 4 assists. So she's proven she can do it. And imagine again what Villa can do with a consistent striker as well. So that's quite exciting for Villa. Apparently that is going to be announced before the deadline on Friday. I mean, I hope so. We've had all this build up to it. Imagine if it doesn't fall through at this point. West Ham as well. They announced yesterday with a lovely Swiss Watch video announcement that they've got Serena Poibel, I believe I've said that right, from FC Zurich, and she will be joining them in their midfield. And it feels like West Ham they've had a strange window, and I think we've spoken before, haven't we? We don't quite know how they're going to do this season because they've had a lot of new players in, but then they've sent loads of people on loan, and it just feels like a bit of a mishmash this season. But not just West Ham or anyone. Are there any other clubs that you've been surprised? And this can be Championship as well, even though their season started because the window's still open. Any clubs that you think maybe should have done more, or any club that you think their window's been pretty decent? Just if anyone's got any thoughts and wants to jump in.
Arsenal have had an interesting window because when you think about it, it's 1-for-1. It's Caldente for Lacasse, but Caldente likes to play on the opposite side. Lacasse is arguably a player who never got the chance he should have done at Arsenal because they have 400 wingers. Like, they play something like a goalie, 3 defenders, 7 wingers, and Stina Blackstenius. And it's like, Or Alessia Russo, because apparently you can't drop her. But like, it's a weird window. They just Rosa Gafaggi as well, another winger.
Yeah.
Although Gafaggi also plays number 10, but that's where supposedly Russo is going to play. So
It'd be interesting to see what they.
It's a scattergun. It's a scattergun approach. It's classic Jonas Eideveld, really. Spurs have had an amazing window. Spurs really recruit well, and I know Liverpool. I think have probably had a slightly quieter window than I thought they were, because when they signed Olivia Smith, I was like, "Hello, that's Liverpool really starting to do something." And then they never.
It's the start of that window, yeah. But
and it's like they've got Matt Beard, who's a fantastic manager. Yes, Olivia Smith is very exciting indeed, but where's the rest of it?
Yeah, because we all said, okay, they had a really good season last season. What can they do to sustain it? What can they do to better it? What can they do to keep evolving, to keep up in there? But hey, in Matt Beard they trust for this one. But yeah.
And I'm very conscious I'm the only one talking. So like, if the others have got any thoughts on transfers, that isn't just me.
I think Palace have had a good window, considering they never signed anyone until about 3 weeks ago, and then they've just all of a sudden just signed player after player after player. But they're signing players to stay in the league, aren't they? I mean, you would look at that, and you'd look at that thinking, are they wanting to stay in the WSL for 2 or 3, 4 years? But they've gone the right way about it. I mean, they've done really well with some loan signings and everything. But really, I've got to be honest. Once that season starts, I wouldn't expect them to go. I certainly expect them to do better than what Bristol did regarding getting some results here and there. But yeah, they've signed some really good players.
It's interesting you say that, because my sources within the Palace camp, he said, desperately trying to sound that it wasn't just some fans who know some players and stuff, have said that apparently a lot of the players feel like they're being set up to fail.
Really?
Because their last pre-season friendly, they played Molly Sharp at right back, which is a Mark Skinner-esque move. But apparently the reason they played Molly Sharp at right back is because they didn't have a right back.
Oh.
Even despite all the recruitings. Also, apparently, pre-season friendly news, Chelsea beat Spurs. No, other way around. Spurs beat Chelsea 2-1. Supposedly.
Ooh, okay.
Kept a bit quiet.
Which probably was. So,
Rosie, how did you not know about this?
I know.
What's going on?
Sorry, where's your source for that?
Literally, one of the chat groups I'm in, and it was a Man United fan, so it's probably wrong. But
I'm not gonna believe that until I see the source.
That's more than fair. I saw it, and I was like, really? Are we talking like youth academies here or something? Because I didn't think there was one going on. It's like, yeah. I thought I'd throw it out there, and in classic journalist fashion, you did react in the way that was like maybe not very silly, but also is probably the best way to react. It was like, yeah. But they won't report it because they don't report pre-season friendlies.
Don't get me started on that.
There's an answer, Ant. There we go. It's
taken
to 10:15, but there we go.
Yeah, Spurs were against Feyenoord today.
Oh, okay.
That was 2-0 that they won.
I don't know where someone pulled Spurs beating Chelsea from then, unless it
was an academy, because I know Chelsea's academy were playing Portsmouth, and they've been doing the rounds.
The academy season's definitely started, because we beat Leicester, I think, today. So that's definitely started. It's like the second group. I think it's the second round of games, so it might have been the academy team.
So it was right. Just don't panic too much, because it wasn't the senior team.
It's fine.
I don't care about the youth. What is this?
Just our future.
Now, before we talk about Chelsea and their interesting hiring system, we just wanted to say Alex Morgan, of course, retiring from football and announcing her pregnancy as well. So just a quick one then. So 224 appearances for the US national team and 123 goals, 5th highest scorer of all time. So yeah, completely changed the game. And it feels, again, like we said it when Rapinoe retired, but there is a massive shift in personnel and as the generations go. So yeah, best of luck to Alex Morgan. And Danny's led us nicely onto the Mark Skinner. So like I said at the beginning of the show, this was posted maybe half an hour before we went live. And the title was We're the Same But Different. And it was very much like, have we all seen Bridesmaids, the film? Where they're talking about, well, if you're evolving, then you're changing. But if you stay the same, do you grow? Like, it was very that conversation. So this is when he's talking about their penultimate preseason match. And he's just saying loads of buzzwords that don't actually really make sense in the process. So yeah, so it's on the official United channels. But Paul, what does that tell you maybe about Skinner? And has he changed for the season, do you think? Did you get a chance to watch the video, by the way, before
I didn't. But clearly, they released it half an hour before the podcast, so I couldn't watch it. That's the plan. We're now in the head.
We're allowed to play it for copyright. Are we allowed to play it for copyright?
Probably not, technically.
Probably not. Right, I'll tell you what, I'll mute myself. You talk about Skinner for 30 seconds because it's literally 34 seconds, this video. Okay, so off you go, and I'll let you know what he said.
Mark Skinner is someone who manages with the confidence of a bald guy buying a comb. Like, you don't know why he's doing it. He just kind of steams in, but always looks a bit out of place. And I don't know.
Okay. The video has subtitles, so I can just mute it. It's fine.
So
he went, yeah, it's fluid. It's mobile. It's interchangeable. But I think it also has the characteristics of a Manchester United team, of the DNA of us, where it's hardworking, industrious, but also not giving the opponent too much. Leicester caused us a couple of moments on counter-attacks, but our players were very alert to it. As I say, their counter-pressing was excellent. Their counter-positioning was excellent. And yeah, we are different. I said at the start of the year, we're the same but different. And I'm excited to see what this young group can achieve.
That first 15 seconds sounded like he was talking about a courier service.
Well, Danny's just said it sounds like you're selling something on The Apprentice.
It is what he sounds like, isn't he? He sounds like he's just some business moron talking corporate crap. You know what I mean? It's just,
don't hold back, Anne. Tell us what you really think.
I mean, I don't. In fact, I might be the only one on here who actually doesn't mind him. But that's just mental. Like, you can't say things like that. You know what I mean? Just be honest. Just say, look, yeah, it's going really well. This, that, and the other. We're looking forward to the new season. We're the same but different. And to open doors, you've got to close the other one. And all that. I mean, it's just like crap, isn't it?
Do you know the last thing we got sold with the same but different?
Yeah, and the Sophie's put that there. It's a lot of words not to say anything, isn't it? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, I've got a high IQ, so I'm just going to speak. I'm going to speak completely not a jargon. You know what I mean? It's whatever.
Do you know the last thing that was sold with the slogan? It's same but different. Same thing. The last thing to be sold with the slogan "We're the same but different" was New Coke. Which for those who are unaware of corporate soft drinks or great marketing disasters, were when Coke in like the late 80s, I think, changed the recipe. Either changed the recipe ever so slightly or decided to act like they'd changed the recipe ever so slightly because Pepsi were getting ahead of them. So they basically did this whole thing of, we are New Coke and it's better and it's the same, but it's different. And nobody bought it. And it absolutely caused Coke sales to tank for about a year.
Do you remember when they brought the white Coke out called Tab? Do you remember that?
Oh, and Tab Clear. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was around about the same time, wasn't it?
So, hang on.
Mark Skinner is Tab Clear.
Yeah, that's what Mark Skinner is. He's Tab.
He's Tab Clear. Like, he likes to pretend he's something different, but he's just a crap version of everything else. And you can tell we've completely confused Freya now. She's on the phone, like, and Rose is definitely too young to remember.
It was literally like Coca-Cola, but it was clear. So it was still fizzy, and it still tasted like Coke. It was just a clear liquid.
It was very weird.
Why? Why did they do that?
I have no idea. It bombed massively.
It was basically it was a massive marketing gimmick, basically.
Wow.
And it was so Mark Skinner is human Tab Clear. He is a massive marketing gimmick disguised as a football manager. Like,
it was released in 1992 and was discontinued in 1994.
I knew it wasn't that long. Rosie's come back thinking, what the hell are you talking about here?
Yeah.
See, a long time ago, Rosie, there was this thing called the 90s. And it was a very
I would know.
It was a very weird time indeed.
There was a time before 2000s.
There was
the Bob wasn't created in 2005.
There was football before the WSL and everything. Like, football before the Premier League. Sorry, that's just an old man rant now. But yeah.
And before mobile data, children, we had to use the landline, and
we had to put 20p in the phone box. No, we didn't have to put 20p in the phone box. We put 10p in the phone box, and you could use bloody 5p's in it as well.
Rosie, do you know what a modem is?
just play Rosie the modem noise and watch the three of us just go.
I've watched Young Sheldon.
Worst noise.
I watched Young Sheldon.
I watched the young version of The Big Bang Theory. I know what a modem is.
That's the only reason I know. At least I'm educating myself.
World history.
World history before 2005. Like, we'll tell her about
we're only jealous, though, aren't we? We're only jealous because we're not young.
Oh, yeah.
We're only jealous because we have to go uphill to school both ways and dig through the snow drifts. Remember when it snowed in the winter?
When it actually did snow.
And you used to get kicked out house at 5:30 in the summer and not let back in till 10 o'clock, playing in the street.
Everyone knew where you were. And of course, the best thing about the 2000s, Judy Murray winning the Winman singles. So
the best thing about the 2000s is me. Obviously.
All right.
Judy Murray.
Judy Murray's got nothing on you, Rosie. Don't worry.
No, absolutely nothing.
I'm going to go off on a tangent because I really, really cannot stand Judy Murray. I'm going to leave it at that.
How can Judy Murray have been that offensive? Like, you don't like her?
She's just got a face like stone, hasn't she? Like, you don't know when Judy Murray's happy, sad, or anything. She's still got the same face.
She's got a Botox face without having had Botox.
It's just the northeast wind, like the Scottish wind. It just like freezes you.
Just literally going back to like what was said and what was done as children. Do you ever get like if you keep the face like that, the wind will change. It'll be like that forever. When he used to pull funny faces and that. Telling you that was Judy Murray.
she just pulled a face at the wrong time.
I was forever frozen in time.
This has moved on from Mark Skinner, hasn't it? Jesus Christ.
But the thing is, going back, Mark Skinner did come out again, and actually, I suppose in the late 90s and early 2000s, the tabloid headline would have been something like Mark Skinner launched his broadside at critics or something, because he came out and he did the thing where he said anyone who talks about this situation doesn't know, it's actually far from the truth. It's like, no, Mark, we have eyes. We watch your Manchester United team play. We saw that game against Chelsea at Old Trafford, where you said
in the 90s it'd be Mark Skinner drinks tab.
Mark Skinner ate my hamster. He looks like the kind of person who'd get caught in a Daily Mirror sting, doesn't he? For I don't know, some sort of really, really minor political sting, like not even anything that's actually a criminal offence or anything, just something that everybody would get really outraged about and then realised that it didn't actually mean anything, like he drinks tab or something. And it becomes a massive thing for like a week, and then everybody realizes, I mean, he's just drinking crap Coke. Right? He's only hurting himself. It's like, why are we so annoyed about it? But he, like you say, he got a thesaurus for, summer reading on the beach, didn't he?
Yeah.
Everyone else on the Costa del Sol with like their Martina Cole novels or their airport novels or whatever else. Mark Skinner's just there with Collins' British thesaurus. Like,
it's very much like when you start learning a new topic and you're starting to learn all these words and you just want to use them because you're like, I know other people use these words in this area, and like it's just like a stream of unconsciousness, like of just all of these buzzwords that he thinks sound good, and it's like Ant said, just be honest. And just like, Leicester had some really good moments, but we were able to counter-attack, blah blah blah, and we're looking forward to the season. That's all you needed to say.
He's got the vibe of someone who buys books to impress girls on the train. Like, like he sat there, like there's people on the train. You sat there, and most people are just kind of reading on their phone, and then there's some arsehole reading like Ulysses by James Joyce or something.
Or the broadsheet newspapers.
Or the proper, and he sat there like this with it.
Across 5 seats, and you're just like,
yeah, like that. I mean, I was over the moon when the Times went to compact. I've got to be honest. That's all you had at college. Just people thinking that they were like better than they were reading the Times on the bus. Yeah.
out the window.
Rosie again is like, papers were big.
Yeah,
like what?
Like, people bought newspapers.
They didn't just read them online on their phones. Like,
yeah.
They still have newspapers on trains, don't they?
Yeah, the Metro. Yeah,
The Metro. Love the Metro. Great.
I remember when that came out. That's all. Really exciting. First thing in the morning to have a free newspaper to read on the bus. You'd see if you could try and get through it, the 10-minute journey to work, if you could.
Then leave it for the next person, so they've got something to read.
Oh, you would. You'd leave it on the seat for the next person. Sometimes you'd sit down on the carpet of metros. Right?
I used to always ruin the crossword puzzle on the Metro on the bus.
Oh God, you were one of them.
So the next person couldn't do it, and it was like complete random shit.
You might have been my nemesis. Like,
and this is how you find him.
like,
Years later on a football podcast.
Oh God, people who half filled in begging crosswords and got them wrong. Like, honestly,
I got them wrong deliberately.
bloody Judy Murray's of public transport. Just like
Judy Murray's public transport.
Sat there with their bloody biros. Like, Mark Skinner definitely did that, didn't he? He definitely tried to do the crossword on the bus and didn't have time to finish it because he couldn't click through his thesaurus quickly enough. So he just left it for someone else.
And went, as he put it down.
No, he went, it's the same but different. We still haven't talked about Chelsea's hiring practices yet. That's another half hour of a rant we've got going.
And the last thing we do have to talk about this evening. So Rosie, you can come back into this one. We'll all be quiet. Chelsea have announced today that they've appointed the Athletics GM as their new CEO. Now, I've got the article here. So it was described as a surprise move. And it's Aki Mandar. Now, she's caused some surprise because she has limited experience actually in football. So she joined the Athletic 4 years ago. She was Chief Operating Officer at the Daily Telegraph. But Paul Green, however, will retain his primary responsibility for player recruitment in his role as general manager. So from the season, Chelsea women are going to be ran separately from the men's operation. Good step forward. But yeah, so they've recruited someone to kind of be a very big deal, but doesn't have much football experience. Rosie, what did you think of this when you first heard it? Because you maybe said slightly that you might have had a different opinion to the naysayers.
So I think most people would have looked at that and said, oh, no experience in football, what are they doing? Blah, blah, blah. However, I looked at it and I thought, that firstly, they've got a CEO. I think, so beforehand, the women's team didn't have one. And whoever ran the men's one probably didn't have much experience in women's football anyway. And I think it's a really good step forward. And I think it follows the trend of Chelsea recruiting women in places of power. Okay, so even the fact they've recruited a woman, and I just think, yes, she's got no experience in football. However, she's not handling on the pitch stuff. Her main role is with communications and with PR, which she's got immense experience in, and I think it's a really good step. And I think that the fact that, I mean, she's not managing the team on the pitch, she's not in charge of transfers, as we said, Paul Green is still there. And yeah, I think she could do a good job, and I think it's a massive step that they've recruited someone for that role. And it shows that, as we saw last season, they're really trying to grow attendances. They're really trying to grow the women's team. So yeah, I think of this as a positive thing, which I know that many people have not.
Yeah, from like that media relations side, like you were saying, so the actual running of it is like a business, isn't it? And she does have business experience.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm aware of the time, so Paul, final thoughts very quickly. Do you have any thoughts on this one, different from what you agree?
Well, Rosie has now very much softened my view on the signing of on the appointment of, because I can see the arguments. Like initially, I just looked at it and, like you say, I didn't see the argument. I'm like, hold on a minute, they're running it. She's got no experience in football, but if she is coming from, her main responsibility is going to be communications, media, PR, that kind of thing. She is in the perfect position to do it. Being COO of the Athletic, that now means that every person who joins Chelsea is going to have a long 1,000-word article about why they're joining Chelsea. Like, they're going to write it themselves, just like all the Athletic journalists did when Athletic started out, and they poached all the journalists and they all wrote the same article, basically. The thing that worries me slightly about it is, again, it's an example of the USification of the WSL. Just made that word up, in the sense that
good one, yeah.
In the Americanization, but not in the sense that you've now got one of the biggest leagues in the world run by someone who is treating it like flipping Glastonbury. And I just hope that the person hired by Chelsea comes in and the people already at the club give her a grounding of not right. Okay, this is Chelsea, and this is, you need to communicate the club culture. There's a certain way you have to communicate with Chelsea fans. There's a certain way you have to communicate with football fans.
Mm.
There are certain expectations about how the communications and media of a football team are run, which are very, very different to anything she's done.
Mm.
And it will be interesting to see how that actually happens, and it'll be interesting to see if things like the club social media not covering the big home friendly at Stamford Bridge or the big home friendly before the start of the season and being shown up by, effectively a fan journalist turning up to the point where most of the fan, or a decent chunk of the fan base, are saying, hey, Chelsea, you need to hire this person because they've done a much better job than you did. That is something that should not be happening.
Yeah, especially at that level, like
for that level, especially with the amount of money Chelsea have invested and the amount, and I would imagine it will be her responsibility to fix that. And hopefully it means we will see a big emphasis on that. But I suppose my reaction is just, if she's only doing that stuff, it's fine. But Chelsea is a football club, and the way the owners operate, and we've seen them operate on the men's side, I hope that doesn't start happening on the women's side as well. And this, this person is very much an owner's hire, and I hope that isn't kind of a way by stealth for the owners to get their person in at the top, and then you start having Todd Bowley turning up at Chelsea women's games and Clearwater interfering and suggesting they want certain things done certain ways, and
so
like they have with the men.
Yeah, so hopefully it's that step forward of, okay, we're bringing someone brand new in, brand new perspective, and hopefully it pushes Chelsea the right way to take care of that business side. Yeah, absolutely. Right, we will wrap it up there then. We've talked about loads tonight, so thank you very much, everyone. It's been really, really fun, and we've even given Rosie a history lesson, so it's been it's been all worth it. So quick shout out on socials then. I know you all have, but if you haven't liked, subscribed, followed, loved, everything that you can do across all socials, then please do, to keep up to date with all the latest things. And you can do so on the following channels. So Twitter, we're at Absolute Ball Pod, on YouTube at Absolute Football Podcast, and the same for Twitch. On TikTok, we are at Absolute Football Pod. On Instagram and Threads, you just need to add an _, and on Facebook, we are the Absolute Football Podcast. But remember, it's not just us on a Wednesday talking women's football, it's Mondays for Premier League and Thursdays for Lower League as well, all starting at 8:30. Unless there's technical difficulties like I had most weeks or this evening. But we aim for 8:30, but we are Team Chaos. And it's been lovely to see you. Thank you very much. If people would like to see more of you, where can they do so, please?
Oh, I got it.
Very good.
Month of learning that. There we are. Yeah, I'm _Watterson on Twitter or X or whatever we call it these days. And if you'd like to follow our wonderful page regarding Sunderland women, it is at HowWeArePod, also on X or Twitter.
Hey, thank you very much. And Paul, #hire Rosie, where can people find more of you, please?
I see. Anne's got it right. I got it wrong. There. At Paul, left hand. At Paul W Radio. If you're a Man United or an Arsenal fan, you probably already know because you probably sent abuse there at some point. Yes, that's where I am. And if I'm not yelling about women's football, I'm probably yelling about WPC. So, and
it's well worth a follow. It's definitely a 10. And Rosie, thank you very much. If people would like to see more of you across their socials, where can they find you, please?
I'm not going to point. I'm not even going to try. It's too late for that. I'm RosieDawson.14 on TikTok and Instagram, and RosieDawson_14 on Twitter.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And if you want to follow more of me, I'm at T4T Rights across pretty much everything. Or talk about Villa Women, I'm at the Hall 115 Yards. So thank you very much to everyone in the chat, listening, watching. Thank you for everyone saying great show and thank you. And we'll be back next Wednesday with more Women's Championship and all of the latest things. So thank you, good evening, and goodbye. Thank you.